Alright guys, what's up? What's going on? As a follow-up video from my last video, it was my A3 lower unboxing video. Kind of went through the safety selector that I was using, the trigger selection, the grip selection, and whatnot. And instead of doing a video, a build video of that, I mean, here it is pretty much right here. Instead of doing a build video of that, I've already kind of put it all together. I think everybody pretty much understands how to drop a trigger in and install a safety selector and a grip. So I didn't really think it was necessary to do a video on that. But I want to just show the quick differences between this and the stock lower. Obviously, to start, the stock lower is it's quite a bit heavier, and I think that all comes to the fact that you know, right here where the trigger assembly is, you've got this this whole metal, basically this whole carrier system for the trigger assembly that sits inside. That certainly adds quite a bit of weight, and obviously you can see, you know, there's really not much going on with this as far as what's inside, other than just the trigger that's dropped in. It's a Timony PCC 3-pound trigger, flat trigger blade, which I really like. I've already kind of tested it a couple times. Literally has zero take up. The reset is practically like a millimeter, half of a millimeter. It's super nice. So anyway, kind of moving forward on this, looking at the bolt catch. I've got the one here that actually came with the gun, or excuse me, came with the lower from A3. You can see that it's pretty wide. Like I said, it's actually got a really nice purchase to it. You know, when you're you know, activating that with your finger or whatnot. You know, this is the HB, the one that's on here now on the original lower, which is their extended, which it's nice, but again, not quite as large as the one that you get from A3. So I kind of like it. It's pretty sweet. Looking at the magazines, and when you get the lower from A3, they kind of talk to you about mag fitment and the fact that there's, you know, multiple magazine manufacturers out there that are making these Scorpion mags. They mentioned the Magpul, the PSA, the CZ. I know there's different ones out there, but they talk about the fact that all of the height of the feed lips relative to where the catch is for the magazine is actually kind of different. So if you're having issues where you know, once the lower is on the upper and you've got the magazine and you're trying to get the magazine up into the mag chamber, if it's not catching on the mag catch, then you actually have to kind of file this down a little bit right here, because you have to account for the fact that there's a little bit of height difference here in the magazines. So not that big a deal. I've already tried these ones out. These are the Magpul ones. These are probably going to be the magazines that I want to run primarily, just because you know, they're kind of tried and true. I hear a lot of good things about these magazines. I've tried them out. They seem to be pretty good. They catch pretty well. No issues. I mean, I yank on them pretty hard, and you know, they really don't want to come out once they're seated in the mag well, which is pretty nice. And I'll show you all that. Kind of looking at, again, some of the differences between these two. Obviously, other than the fact that the stock one is quite a bit heavier, I want to kind of be able to try and show the differences on the grip angle, and you can see that quite a bit there if you're looking at that. I was saying before that I'm using the B5 Systems grip instead of the Magpul grip that a lot of the guys are using, which is that A2 Plus grip, which again, I've got one of those. You can see that the A3 Tactical, the finger well on that is really nice. It's nice and flared. Again, using a gloved hand or something like that, you're going to be able to you know, get it in there pretty well. I really like the fact that this is cut nice and high. You can get your hand right up nice and high on that. You can really see a difference in the grip angle there, and so that's pretty nice. It's very comfortable. I really like this. Again, this A3 lower. If you look at online the lingo lower that a lot of guys are going with, the one thing that I noticed, and really one of my main reasons for going with this, other than the lingle, number one, is polymer. I didn't want aluminum. I wanted a polymer lower, keeps the weight down. You know, polymer's kind of tried and true these days. It's been around for now quite a while, so I didn't see that it was necessary to go with an aluminum lower. But if you look at the way that Lingle has theirs designed, their mag well, first off, it's not flared quite as much. I really like the flare on this mag well. I think it really is going to be beneficial for quick magazine changes. And if you look at the Lingle lower, their mag well doesn't come. It's not made as far down, and as far as matching up with the lower part of where the trigger guard is. Their mag well only comes to about here, so you actually have less magazine coverage, I guess is what you can call it, than you do with the A3 lower. And I just really kind of seem to like this a little more. You can see when this Magpul magazine goes up in here, it meets that bolt catch. It sits pretty nice, pretty flush. As you can see, when it catches with their last round bolt hold open that they've designed, here's of course the last round right there, and it just pushes up on the last round, bolt hold open for this. So again, pretty easy, pretty simple design. You've got that spring that's on the upper that basically sits right on top of this and keeps it pushed down in a normal fashion. But as soon as you get that last round as part of the follower that pops up in there, that's what again pushes that up, and you get your last round bolt hold open on the bolt catch there. So pretty nice. I've tested this. Again, it holds in there pretty tight. I've tested it out of the gun like this. Just wanted to see how easily it releases. That's the only thing I've kind of noticed that's not really simple. It doesn't really just kind of fall out. When it's in the gun, it's slightly different, and I'll kind of illustrate that by putting this together and showing you guys the way it works. Again, I really like this this whole setup. One of the things that I've kind of toying around with, and I'm gonna be honest, the gun came with these HK style takedown pins. Now these pins aren't exactly like the stock pins. You can see that they're both exactly the same length, whereas the stock pins, the one in the front is shorter than the one in the back, and so there's no real differentiation other than the fact that the one in the back has got a little bit of a cutout on it right here, where it's just going to sit up against the top of the receiver there. So you'll use this one in the back. So for me, I wanted to push them in from the left side to the right side, because otherwise I don't want to have to be holding the gun like this and having this part of this sticking out, of this pin sticking out. I'm gonna still kind of play around with that at the range and see how comfortable that is to use, and kind of go from there. Of course, everybody and their brother needs to call me. So just kind of again looking at that, everything kind of again matches up, meets up really nice. The fitment is actually nice and tight for the lower to the upper, which is nice. Not a lot of slop, not a lot of play. So they did a really good job with that. And then same thing for when you put the takedown pin in on the top there. I mean, it is snug, and the pin actually slides in there really snug, which again, I really like that. So just kind of looking at the way that the thing sits, fit and form, finish and whatnot, I think it's pretty badass. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm going to kind of show you guys as far as function is concerned. With the bolt forward in the gun, and I load the magazine. Again, the magazine's nice and tight. I don't really think I need to make any sort of adjustments there. And it does want to kind of fall out, which is pretty good. Both Magpul magazines, when you're doing mag changes and you want to hit that, obviously you want the magazine just to fall out. That was one of the things I really noticed with the stock magazines and the stock lower. When you're on the range and you're running and gunning and you got that last round that holds open and you want to just drop the magazine and do a quick magazine change, the magazine doesn't fall out. I mean, it literally is like one of those things where you have to yank the magazine out and then do a magazine change and make sure that you're good to go. These ones actually tend to fall out pretty well. However, I was testing this yesterday. That's with the bolt forward. Now, you know, if you can lock the bolt back, you can see you've got your, you know, your bolt hold open there. I'll go ahead and seat the magazine so you can see that. I really like the fact that when the magazine is seated, if you can see that, it sits. This is one of their concerns. The magazine actually sits really close to the extractor right there. So that's where you're going to get your difference in magazine height from where it catches in the mag well, and you get your feed lips. If you have feed lip interference with the extractor there, then that's why you need to be able to kind of sand that one area down, so that way it kind of drops it down. The fact that these are curved magazines and the fashion and how they have the mag well situated, you see that you've got a much better presentation of the round to the feed ramp. So much better than it was with the stock magazines. So I think that's going to really lend to much better feeding, you know, not having, you know, failures to feed, not having ejection issues. As long as we don't, again, as long as I don't have any sort of clearance issues when I go to run this with the ejector right there. Excuse me, the extractor. So anyway, I'll go ahead and let the bolt go home. The magazine is seated. Last round holds open. You can see that. It's already in there. So when I go to drop the magazine with the last round with the bolt held open, you can see it doesn't want to drop at all. And that's on both magazines. I actually have to give it a yank, and it's actually up in there. It's in there pretty good. So that could lend to be a little bit of a problem. I'm going to have to kind of work on that. And I've already looked at the back of the magazines. You can see where they're kind of wearing here. You can see where it gets a little bit of wear there, and it gets a little bit of wear also right there where I'm pushing up against it. So I'm going to do a little work on the mags and see if I can fix that. That's exactly where it's kind of going up in there and hitting the extractor. Again, it's right here. We'll see if that's something that I can take care of and remedy. But I mean, obviously, when you're running and gunning and you're shooting and you want to do a quick magazine change, obviously you want to be able to hit your magazine release. The magazine falls out without any sort of issues, and then you want to be able to, you know, put the magazine in and, you know, let the bolt go home and keep going. So could be an issue. Again, I'll see you on that. With the bolt forward, the magazine just falls right out. Pretty nice. Seats falls out pretty easy. I'm not really worried about full magazines. You know, if I got a full magazine with the weight of the ammo in there, I definitely want it to stay in the mag well. But an empty magazine, I want to see that thing pop out just like that every single time, even with the magazine, the bolt locked in the back. I want to see the magazine go up in there and not have any issues, and also fall out without any issues. And it's certainly not going to do that. Now, I don't know if that's just because these Magpul mags are a little taller. They do mention that in the magazine fitting, that the Magpul mags, as far as the height relation of the feed lip to where it actually attaches to the catch in the magazine mag well, that the Magpul mags are the tallest. So, you know, maybe a change of the magazine will actually help with that. But we shall see. But anyway, that's it, man. Like, that's it so far. That's the whole deal. I'm pretty much at this point close to the point where I am done with this build. The only other thing I'm going to be adding is a short stroke kit. I haven't exactly decided which one I'm going to go with yet. It's probably going to be one of the 1/2 inch spacers, just because of the fact that I want to continue to run this this bolt catch release and not have to go with something that's modified. You know, with this whole lower and whatnot. Not exactly sure where I'm going to go with that. So anyway, more to come on that. But otherwise, I love it. I mean, this is kind of the direction I was looking to go. And really, the only thing at this point for me is trying to decide if I do still want to send it off and have the entire gun coated. I want to send it off to one-off coating and have Tom and those guys take care of it. And I'm looking at maybe like an FDE, like an FN FDE color. I think that'd be pretty sick looking, or maybe something different. So yeah, I'm looking for some information, maybe some suggestions. Maybe just keep it all black because, you know, black is black, and you know, for a for a gun like this, black is kind of sick. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions. Comments are always appreciated. Thanks.